Good afternoon, guys, already. Great to be here, and thanks for that very overstated and exaggerated introduction, but we'll just have to accept it. Anyway, it's always great to visit this very special Makom Torah. The energy is palpable. You guys have great leadership here, and I don't know what belabor the really the incredible attributes of your Rosh Yeshivas and your Rebbeim, but really you're in a very special place. And in taking advantage of a very special place, which is what you're here to do, and Bez Hashem, for the 1 or 2 or 3 years that you're going to be here, however long that might be, certainly Torah is going to be the main thing coming at you. And it should be, because after all, it is absolutely the central fabric of what makes a Jew into a Jew. Without Torah, especially if you're a male, females, maybe we can argue about their spiritual nourishment, but for a male, there's no doubt. There's no machlokes. Barasi Torah, barasi Torah tavlin. You guys need Torah. And without Torah, you can't survive. Plain and Parsha. None of us can. We're literally like fish out of water. But I think it's important that we sort of also focus, and I'm sure you hear this a lot, but it's always good to reemphasize it, that together with that growth in Torah, there needs to be a parallel aspect of our growth in Midos, and our growth in Yerushalayim, and our growth in the mitzvah of Volachta b'drochav, alicha b'drochav, of working and emulating HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mahu rachel, mafato rachel, mahu chanan, afato chanan. The idea of developing yourself in terms of being a mensch. And it's, again, somehow in the system of the world, sort of the focus on the intellectual prowess and the intellectual development, somehow this somehow gets lost in the shuffle very often. And that's how, just very honest and blunt. You can see people that seem to be very God-fearing. Okay, they seem to be very holy in terms of their outward garb, and yet when you look a little bit inward, and you see sometimes shocking behavior. And Rabbi Avrohom says, it's not my words, you can check Rabbi Avrohom at the end of third parak in Pirkei Avos, he says very clearly, Torah will never rest on a person if he has not been mesaken his midos. Maybe not fully yet, because you have to go through the Rabbi Avrohom there in the Mishnah of the main derech eretz ein Torah. You need Torah to complete the package. But if you're not somebody who is working on oneself to become a better person, to be more sensitive, Torah is not going to rest. So the incredible power that Torah has, this transformational powers that it has, will not work, says Rabbi Avrohom, on a person. And we've seen it. How many times, how many amazing stories just from my little enclave in the valley. The miracles that I've seen are just put the Grovemans on the list. It's just amazing. And the sofas certainly fit in there. But if you look at the totality of Klal Yisrael, of what happens, guys who you'd never imagine would be able to grow to the level that they've grown. And how does it happen? Certainly Eretz Yisrael is a major factor. Avriyuda Eretz Yisrael Machkim. But at the end of the day, it's Torah. Okay, it's machkim to what? It's machkim to allow Torah to get into us and transform us, and to allow us to grow and to sort of change our whole perspective of what's really important in this world. Rabbi said, but apparently it has to go together with the menshakai, with the derech eretz, with the midos, with the sensitivities. It has to go. If it doesn't go together, Rabbi Avrohom says very, very clearly, it won't happen. That's why also the very famous Gra in Mishlei, I think it's Mishlei Dalid, where the Gra says about not leaving Musar, don't leave Musar. And he says something which, coming from you can say maybe Rabbi Shol, if he had said it, you wouldn't be that shocked. But for the Gra to say this, for the Gra to say that basically what the Shalom Melech is telling us about not allowing Musar to sort of leave us, grab onto it, hold on to it, he says, because that's why we're here in this world. We are here to rectify any midah that we have not yet rectified. That's why we're here in this world. And he ends that little piece, and it's really kedai to look it up and see the words, so it sort of hits you, osios machimos, they sort of grab into you and say, wow. Because his last words, because if that's not what you're doing, if that's not what you're focusing in on, being a better person, being more sensitive, being more kind, being less angry, being less haughty, being less jealous, being less petty, if you're not working on that, whatever it is that ails a particular person, we all have our foibles, we all have our challenges. He says, Lama loy chayim. His last 3 words on that piece is Lama loy chayim. What's he alive for? What's he alive for? Vilna Go, is that you talking to me? Vilna Go, what are you alive for? How about working on a Rashba? What about answering a steer and Rambams? What about mastering Bavli and Yerushalmi? What about Mechilton and Tosef? This is the Vilna Gaon talking to us. A man who literally spent 20 hours a day on a regular day not just hurrying, not just toiling in Torah, but achieving levels that everyone says, right? Chaim Volozhin says he's like the Rashba, Efshel like the Ramban about the Vilna Gaon. He was literally a man totally hundreds of years out of his time. How? Through learning Torah. So if you're not working on your midos, lama lo chayim, for him to say that? What an incredible statement that is. And the answer is, it's incredible, but he's telling us that's the Torah personality. The Torah personality is not somebody who's simply focused on the intellectual growth of an individual, of ourselves as we grow in Torah, but there has to be that realization. That's why there's also amazing Chavetz Chaim on the same point. Chavetz Chaim talks about the fact that if you look in Parshas Eikev, he says the halachta b'dracha, which is really the mitzvah, and it's a mitzvah say the chinuch brings it. It's one of the Taryag mitzvahs of the Torah to fulfill the mitzvah of halachta b'dracha, to develop yourself to be a mensch, to follow the attributes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says it's mentioned 3 times in Parshas Eikev. It's mentioned before Yiras Elokim, at the beginning of the parsha. It's mentioned after Yiras Elokim, before Avos Hashem, in the middle of the parsha. And at the end of the parsha, it's mentioned after Ava, before Dvekis. What's going on? Why 3 times, and why all the juxtapositions here? And he says, incredibly, the Chavetz Chaim says, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is reminding us that there are a lot of people who think, when you're younger, derech eretz kadmon l'Torah, midos Sinai, so we'll work on you, you'll become a nice person. But now I have Yiras Shamayim already. I've been a heilig yid. Now I have to work on midos. That's for the baby stuff. I'm 25 years old. I'm going to take out a Mesilas Yesharim and start working on Kas. I mean, come on. He says, no. After Yira, before Hava, take out that Mesilas Yesharim. Work on those midos. Work however you want to do it. You can do it many different ways, but whatever you do it and however you want to do it, you got to work on your sensitivities, on your Meshachkeit. And even after you've gotten to the level of Ava, and we know Avos Hashem is a lofty goal, a lofty level. You can live a long time and not yet reach Ava. But if you've gotten there, and then you really think this is not the time to really, now I'm going to focus on midos, on alicha b'dracha. He says even there before the Dvekis, which is literally that's come out when you have a Ruach HaKodesh and you're in the celestial heights. You still have to be working on your midos. It's a never-ending process. And just from the parsha, just some subtleties that are so amazing. The Chizkuni says that why is it HaKadosh Baruch Hu had the leader of the Jewish people come from a relationship which ultimately is prohibited by the Torah. Obviously, the Torah wasn't given yet when Yocheved and Amram married. But bottom line is, Amram married his aunt. Aunt is an Erva. So why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu maneuver all the Hashgacha Pratis? Ultimately he's got the master plan and he's maneuvering all of the different parts of the tapestry of the world events, to a particular master plan. So why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu maneuver Moshe Benu to have come from a relationship where once the Torah was given, he came from an Ervidic relationship? Pretty basic question. He says amazingly. I mean, the answer that he gives is mind-boggling. The Chizkuni says, because there's a Gemara that says that you shouldn't appoint a Parnes al Tzibur unless you have some kind of a sort of a necklace of shratzim hanging around your neck, which basically means that when you're a leader of Klal Yisrael, then there's always a little, after all, I'm a leader now. I've been a big shot. Okay, I've got everybody coming at me and asking me, and I'm doing amazing things. And a leader needs to always have some reminder of humility, some reminder of where you come from. And don't let it get to your head. We're talking about Moshe Benu. We're talking about somebody who didn't want this in the first place. So for a Moshe Benu needs the shratzim al tzavaroi, he needs that reminder to keep himself in line. You say it's totally overkill. But apparently, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu, according to the Chizkuni, HaKadosh Baruch Hu maneuvered it because even a Moshe Benu, that idea of, and again, we're living in a world where the messages are coming. Baruch Hashem, you're here. You're not not that you don't have these messages in Israel and in certain enclaves as well, but certainly in America, you guys know it's numero uno. It's me. It's a contract. It's the top billing. It's I don't get enough respect, and therefore I'm going to jump my team because you haven't given me enough millions, and therefore the whole idea is just it's all about self promotion. It's all about making sure I get taken care of. So in a world where this is coming at you from every direction, to be reminded by this chizkuni, to the subtleties of every single midah, and the sensitivity of the Moshe Benu was not going to walk around with his nose up in the air. But apparently, even if a slight bit of gaiva gets in, something a little bit sort of that would be infringing on the perfection of his anava, which was the greatest of all time. Moshe Anav Mikol Adam. You'd say, if anybody doesn't need it, you know what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying even he needs it. So we don't need it. We don't need to work on ourselves. We don't need to, if we get a little bit, I joke with the guys, we have and it's good to want to win. I want to win too. People know me from Sarachek. I want to win, okay? I haven't won it yet. It's been over about 25 years. We're still waiting for the championship. It hasn't happened. But we all want to win. But at what point are you willing to, lace into that guy who misses the layup with 5 seconds to go? Or drops the pop-up in a critical baseball game. I mean, what do you do? It's so easy. So easy to sort of lose yourself. And to think that these are not small things. I mean, just stop and reflect. We're talking about literally an infinitesimal level of subtlety of Moshe's midos. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it, that he came from relationships so that he shouldn't fall even to the slightest degree. And amazing, just on the flip side of that, the Das HaKedim also in this week's Parsha talks about the fact that of all of the ervos that are mentioned in Achri Mos and in Kedoshim, the one that doesn't have the Misa to it, that normally it says Mos Shumas, Demei and Bam, whatever, you have different references to the punishment of death to an illicit relationship that one transgresses. When it comes to the ant, it's not there. The Torah does not say Misa by the ant. Why? Out of respect for Moshe Rabbeinu. Because he comes from that relationship, and for the Torah to have written it, now again, we know that the punishment is Misa. Look in the Shulchan Aruch. It's the same as every, there's a Hekesh, right? Hook Shulchan Aruch. So we know that at the end of the day, we're not going to get around it. We're going to know that Moshe Rabbeinu came from a relationship that the punishment is death. But I don't want to say it. For me to articulate it, it's not so nice. And it's shade. Rabbi said these are such subtle feelings, but you see that these subtle feelings are not small things. If we can, and you have a bracha, because the fact that you're here, Baruch Hashem, it's true, yes, everyone knows you're being well taken care of in all matters, ruchnius and gashmis, you're being well taken care of. But still, in a dorm situation, there are challenges. And there are guys who maybe walk in 1 o'clock in the morning and, the light goes on because, I gotta get ready for bed. So if I put the light on, maybe make a little bit of noise, what's the big deal? I mean, for a person to exercise a little extra sensitivity in those areas, the smallest thing you can do, the smallest gesture that can put a smile on somebody's face or make somebody feel, thank you. You made a difference in my life. I love it's a wonderful story I heard years ago about a fellow who became a major Rav in Europe, and he invites this guy who he was together in Yeshiva Panovich with him. And the guy couldn't understand, why did I get an invitation to this guy? The guy, his son got married, he's getting an invitation. I barely knew this guy. He became a Shem Dover, a big Rav, big Talmid Chacham, and so he got to him and he sort of said, hey, I'm honored you sent me the invitation, but why? We weren't close, and I don't have much shaykhus to you. It's certainly covered for me to get the invitation, but I'd just like to know why. He says, you want to know why? You're the reason why I stayed in Panovich. You're the reason why I became who I became. I became a Rav. Because of me. You were greater than me. You were a better learner. What are you talking about? He says, let me tell you, you don't know. He says, I was the youngest guy. I came from, I think it was Belgium. And I was the youngest guy in Panovich. My mother sent me there. I don't know the whole story, but basically the story goes, and I was terribly homesick. And I made up my mind that particular day, I was going to go home. I was going to call my mother. In those days, you need the Asimonim. You got to go to the post office back in the good old days. You gather up your Asimonim. You call Europe. You call America. You guys can't relate to that whole stuff right now, but that's the way it was. I even remember those days. And so I was ready to call home. I said, that's it. Today, I'm calling. Lunchtime, I've had it. I'm homesick. Nobody cares about me. I feel all alone. I'm the youngest guy here. I don't want to be here. So I'm going home. Okay, so right before lunchtime, I was learning. It was morning Seder. And you walked by my chair. And you notice that my jacket was folded up. And as you walked by, you straightened out my jacket. And you gave me a little pat on the back. And I just somehow felt, someone noticed me. Someone acknowledged me. I won't make the phone call today. Let me wait another day. I feel good now. I'm not all, for hates inside. I'll wait. And I never made that call. I stayed in Panovich that little. Now, when I joke with my guys that I look around davening in chakras to see if anybody has their jacket, up so I can maybe, straighten it out. It doesn't always work, but whatever. But the idea is, you see how sometimes the smallest sensitivity can make such a difference in a person's life. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so machshav. He so looks at that. It makes such a difference. And when you think the Torah went out of its way. I know that Moshe Rabbeinu, where he came from. I know that his father married the father married the father's aunt. We know that. But again, just not to say it explicitly, to just be a little bit more subtle, makes a difference. Adds to the covenant of Moshe Rabbeinu, which shows us how we have to have that sensitivity to another person, obviously to Moshe Rabbeinu, but really to all Klal Yisrael. Everything counts. And maybe just end. I don't know. I forget. I didn't ask you the time for it. But can I say a story? Okay. So, just one amazing story. I don't know if you might have heard this story, but it's a story that is fairly well known, and it's about two Gedolim. Ultimately, these people both became Gedolim. But it's an incredible story about sensitivity. And Rabbi say again, we have to remember we can't look at this as sort of an adjunct to our Torah learning. This is our Torah learning. This makes Pshat in the Rashba clearer. This makes everything that we do on a higher level. And we will become greater in learning if we have these midos inculcated into ourselves and if we're working on this during this incredible process that you have in the incredible year or years that you have here in Eretz Yisrael, learning in this amazing Malkum Torah. Just to sort of highlight it to an incredible way. It's a great story to remember because, again, I don't know who's on the Madrega in today's Dor to live this story, but you know what? It didn't happen such a long time ago. It happened 100 years ago, and the guy wasn't 80 years old. He wasn't a tzaddik hadar. He was a younger guy. But listen to this story. It's about a fellow who walks into a yeshiva, is a big Talmid Chacham, has a wonderful daughter. He says, I want a shidduch for my daughter. I want your best guy. And I deserve it. I'm ready to support him. He'll have no problem. You know who I am. And he had a very chashuv yeshiva, this Rosh Yeshiva, so he started to start here. So the Yeshiva thinks about it because he had two choices. He had Reuven and Shimon. We'll just call him for argument's sake, Reuven and Shimon. And the Yeshiva thinks about it. He says, I think I have the guy for you. I want your daughter to go out with Reuven. Fine. She goes out with Reuven. Things click. Mazel Tov. Everything's good. Mazel Tov L'chaim. We're gonna have a wedding in a few months. Okay. Time goes on. A couple weeks go by. Reuven notices the gleam in the Kal's eye is just not there anymore. Something changed. Something impacted, and he did a little research. He found out this is also something that plagues Klal Yisrael a lot. Lashon Hara got in, and the girl heard from somebody in the neighborhood that the yeshiva really wasn't so accurate. Reuven's not the best guy. Shimon's the best guy. And I guess she was brought up with the idea that you're going to marry the best guy, and this and that, how we all want the best guy. So anyway, he calculated that she felt that she's settling right now. So he says to her after a little bit of time where he really ascertained what was going on, he says, listen, you should be excited to get married. You shouldn't feel you're settling. I'm not going to have tinus, no problems. I'm going to, let's break off the shidduch. You should be able to marry the person you want, and I'm mochel you completely. Okay. They broke it off. And sure enough, she married Shimon. Time goes on, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, 10 years go by, and all of a sudden a different Talmid Chacham, an Adam Gadol, shows up in the yeshiva and says, I'm starting a yeshiva, I need a Spitz Maggid Shir, a top-of-the-line guy, superstar guy, this is going to be a shame of a place. And if any guy gets his job, he needs to be a superstar, and it's a job to die for. Do you have anybody for me? Yeshiva thinks about it, he says, yeah, I do. I think I have just mamish the right person for the job, Reuven. Reuven's a great candidate. I think Reuven's married already at this point. And the Yeshiva meets him, talks it over, learning, Iyun, Amkis, you name it, Pekiyas, Hashkafa, Musa, the guy's got it all. He offers Reuven the job. Reuven said, well, and think about it. Next day he comes by, he says, sorry, but I have to decline. His Rosh Yeshiva goes over to me, have to decline? Reuven. This is a job to die for. This is one of the top yeshivas. This is going to be mamish, one of the top places in all of Europe. And you'll be able to learn on the deepest level, and you'll have Talmidim mamish, the superstar Talmidim. How can you turn this job down? The boy say his answer was, Because if I take this job, everyone's going to know that I took this job. This is a big, high job. It's going to be in the front pages of all the newspapers. Everyone's going to know that Reuven got this job. And this is a young lady who's married to Shimon, who thinks she got the top guy. I can't be the cause of her somehow maybe second-guessing herself. Ooh, this is the top position in Europe, and Reuven got it. I can't give her that agmas nefesh. I can't play a role in affecting their shalom bayis, and somehow maybe she thinks she now maybe made a mistake. I can't cause that to her. And I can't cause that to him. And therefore, I have to back away because I can't cause. And there are other chazal that sort of emulate this concept of causing somebody else agmas nefesh, even on the most subtle. And what do you mean? And you're the one who messed up. It wasn't me who messed up. You wanted out. You thought Shimon was your. So there's so much reason to say, well, take the job, grab it. Again, I don't know if we're on the madrega today to do this, but we can think about it. We can start factoring in the day-to-day aspects of our lives, and especially in dormitories, especially in all the interactions that we have. If we can develop these kind of sensitivities, everybody say, it's not just that would be nice for guys, okay, which itself is very, very incredible. We'll be deeper people. We'll be more successful in our learning. Everything is going to change because as we grow, and one other very quick point, when our parents see us Pesach time, and we heard all the great reports, and the Reshivas gave all the great reports to the parents about how your son has grown, and all it's fantastic. And I hear this, back in the valley. He's grown so much, and he comes home. He's a log on the, he's 3 weeks of nothingness. I want him to help out. I'm chilling, Ma. No, sorry, I can't cash in the kitchen. I can't. But I heard all. Yeah, you heard you steiging away. That's learning. I'm here to chill. Don't ask me to tell. It's a shock, and sometimes people sometimes actually say, "You want it?" Second year, no, because I haven't seen anything. What do you mean? I'm learning 14 hours a day in Eretz Yisrael. What are you talking about? I just want to relax for a while. Give me a break. You know what? People, especially parents, they want to see the whole picture. They want to see the learning impacting the kibbutz avayim. So for another factor, it's very important. For many reasons, it's very important. But our learning will be different as well. So Bez Hashem, you have Baruch Hashem the Rebbeim, you have the Rosh Hashivas to emulate the totality of what a Torah personality is about. Let's internalize it. Let's realize how important it is. Bez Hashem, we'll go Michayel Chayel. That's Chus Bizoch to be a Mashiach.